Hey, y'all. I hope y'all doing well. This is your girl, Tonetta of the Social Worker Coach podcast, number 130. Like I said, I want to welcome you all to this episode. In this episode, we're talking about, of course, caregiving. How much can you handle? Like I said, that is the topic for today. Definitely make sure that if you know anybody who's caregiving, to share this out with them. Because I know some folks, of course, get into different things and have all their heart into it, but then they start regretting some things. So, like I said, that's what we're going to talk about today in this podcast episode. So, go ahead and join me on this mission today. So, like I said, how much can you handle caregivers? Like I said, I talk to caregivers all the time, every single day, actually. Facilitate support groups and all those types of things for caregivers. And I know all the struggles and the stress and the frustrations that caregivers normally go through. And while it's a lot, of course, yes, your heart is definitely in it. Yes, nobody's saying that it's not. And the work has to be done. But I definitely understand that as well. But this is a question that you have to ask yourself as far as how much can you handle? There are I've spoken to some caregivers who've had to quit their jobs, who've had to move different states and move in with their loved one. All types of things have happened. But the same question I asked you, the same question I asked them, how much can you handle? This is depending on the illness, because I know some illnesses like dementia, memory loss, that type of thing is a bigger, well, I can't say a bigger struggle, but it's a lot more involved and a lot more detailed struggle than others. But all of it, regardless, is a struggle. But with certain illnesses, you have to be there 24 hours a day, checking on this person, especially if your person, like I said, has memory loss and they're wandering and messing with things in the house and leaving stuff on the stove. It takes a lot sometimes. But you have to realize and you have to ask yourself the question, how much can you handle? Yes, that's a question that I can ask you, but you have to ask yourself and be honest with that. And be honest with the response, I guess I put it that way. Like I said, there are some caregivers who have quit their jobs and moved across the country or moved to another state or city and moved in with their loved ones so that they can take care of them. There's caregivers who were out traveling, doing all types of things, still working their job, had to retire and, of course, start caregiving, I guess I put it that way, because they were the only one that was available to, of course, take on on those tasks and those duties. There are some caregivers, like I said, who regret having to not be able to travel and live the life that they thought they were going to live after they retired. I can't tell you how many times I heard that one. And like I said, caregiving while it's definitely rewarding, and that, like I said, somebody has to, of course, take care of our loved ones. Trust me, I understand that. We all understand that. But there comes a point in time where you have to decide how much can you handle, especially if you're getting to the point of caregiver burnout. Caregiver burnout, when you're so burned out, so stressed, you're sick and tired of doing what you're doing, and you're just ready to give up. Caregiver burnout. That's in short. The stress is piled up. You're running. You can't even get anything done for yourself. You can't even get your own self-care. Can't even get to your own doctor's appointments to even take care of your own health. Caregiver burnout is real, y'all. But like I said, you have to ask yourself the question of how much can you handle? You don't have to handle everything on your own. You don't have to. There are resources out there. I'll go over a few of those in a few, but the first thing I always start with when I talk to my caregivers is, where is your family and friends? Do you have any? Even if it's neighbors, even if it's somebody that you just met that want to help, where's your support system? You have to create that support system for yourself in order to, like I said, to have that ingrown help, I guess I put it that way, that you wouldn't have to pay for and all those types of things, hopefully. Always ask, if you have grandkids, at least somebody over the age of 18, 21, can they come in and just sit for an hour, play games with your loved one, that kind of thing, just to give you a break. Like I said, that gives you a break. And that means you don't have to pay for any extra services anywhere else either. Like I said, the main thing always ask this question, how much can you handle? And if you're not able to handle it well, find some help and some support that can help you handle these situations. Don't go at this alone, y'all. You never want to go at caregiving alone. Caregiving is a big job. And even though you're not getting paid for it, it's a job. 24/7 job. Where you're losing sleep, you're losing patience, you're losing frustration. Can't even get your own health taken care of because you're working on this person 24 hours a day in some cases. How much can you handle? Like I said, that's a question I'm asking you, but you have to be honest with yourself as well. Take that question, write it in your journal, and answer it in the most honest way that you can. Because I don't want you all out here burning out and stressed. And I don't know the stats offhand. I believe it's like 55%, I want to say. What's the last stats? 55 or somewhere in that arena. More than 50%. Then the stat I'm talking about is about how more than 50% of the caregivers usually pass away before their loved one that they're taking care of passed away, because they're so stressed and so burned out with things that they're not asking for help. Like I said, I don't want you all out there passing away and struggling and having strokes and those types of things because you are like I say, are of course dealing with this rough situation on your own. You don't have to deal with this on your own. Like I said, my first question is always to all my caregivers that I have, who is your support system? Who are the people that you call on to depend on? I don't care if they're out of the state, out of the country, wherever they are. Who are those people? Make a list of those people. Make a list of those people, and then, of course, the time and day to call each and every one of them to tell them what you're going through and what the situation is with your loved one. Your mom, dad, your sister, brother, whoever it is, your husband, whoever it is. Call them and let them know. I know a lot of times I talk to, of course, I can't tell you how many caregivers, probably about over 80%, have told me that they haven't told everybody in their life what's going on or their family friends what's going on because they just haven't had a chance to, or whatever the case may be. I know it's hard to ask for help, and I know it's hard to discuss things with people that's near and dear to your heart. And I know that, of course, it's your business and you don't want to get everybody involved in all these kind of things, but caregiving is something that you do not want to do on your own. You have got to have help. Now, I know that's our own ego and our own pride, and I wanted to ask for help. I do that too, and I've had to learn how to get better with that. But I'm telling you, you cannot go caregiving alone. You have to have help. Put that ego aside and put that pride aside and let them folks know in your life what's going on so that they can help you in any kind of way that they can. Even if they send in a delivery of snacks or something to your house every month or every 2 months, that's still help. Even if one of your sisters or brothers somewhere is in another state or country, but they're calling to schedule all the doctor's appointments and letting you know when they are, that's a big help. You don't have to sit here and call and be on hold and be on the phone. Let them help you. I don't care if somebody wants to hire a cleaner to come clean your house once a month. Allow them to do that. They're wanting to help and they're willing to help. They may not be there physically to help you, and that's okay. The long distance help also helps. There's a lot of tasks and duties that they can do from far away, but they don't have to be in the city where you're at. Even though, yes, the respite, you need somebody to come sit with your loved ones so that you can get a break, a physical break as well. But those other kind of breaks and those other duties that you have, let somebody else scratch those off their list instead of you. Like I said, that's always the first thing I always ask everybody: where is your support system? Who is your support system? If you don't have one, start building one. Even if it's with the one neighbor next door or one neighbor behind you, you out there walking your dog or something, you see somebody you see all the time, start telling them more and more every time you meet them. Try to get to know who they are. And share your stories and see what's going on. You never know. You all may be doing the same exact thing and need each other for support. That has happened a lot of times. You never know. Start talking to people. Like I said, if you don't have it, build your support system if you don't have it. Now, the next thing I want to get into, like I said, how much can you handle? Yes, while you have, of course, building your support system, already have your support system, getting the help that you need and that kind of thing from family and friends and neighbors or whoever. But I do want to let you know that if that is not possible, because I know sometimes families have all types of issues, people fall out, people haven't talked in years and all types of stuff going on. And some folks have passed away, so your family have dwindled down to just you and another person or that kind of thing. I understand that happens, and other folks are sick and that kind of thing, and they can't help either. I understand that, but just know that, like I said, there are resources out there, and it should be all communities, I'm sure, that can assist you. Now, not granted, like I said, the first set of things were free. Working with your family, friends, neighbors, people that you know to, of course, come in to support and help, that's usually always free. But the next several things I'm going to go over may not be free at all. You may have to, well, I'm going to say may not. They won't be free at all, and you're going to have to pay for these things unless your loved one has the state-sponsored Medicaid. Usually those with Medicaid insurance, I'll talk about that in another video. Or if you want that one-on-one Medicaid assistance or just information, that kind of thing, just DM me and we can go ahead, of course, and discuss it. But otherwise, like I said, the services that I'm going to talk to you about, like I said, all of these are paid services. And unless you have the income or you can private pay and that kind of thing, there are some agencies like the Area Agency on Aging that, of course, may have some grants or different things that you can, of course, apply for to get these types of services. But if for some reason they're out of funding or the place does not accept any kind of other funding but private pay or whatever the case may be, like I said, definitely these services are services that you have to pay for. So I just want to make sure I bring them to your attention just in case you had no idea that you can do these things. The first one is hire an in-home caregiver. I think a lot of you all may already know about those kind of services because you're a caregiver yourself. And usually when I bring this up, most folks already know about that kind of thing, so which is fine. But I just want to make sure that you know that service is available as well. If you have the funds or if you have or if the person has the state-sponsored Medicaid, this could be something that you all can look into to give you a break. I guess I put it that way. To give you a break, to give you some respite time so you can get away and do your own thing and take care of your own health, mental, physical, and emotional health. And like I said, let's hire a caregiver. I've had some caregivers who have hired caregivers, in-home caregivers, professional caregivers for 1 or 2 hours. And I've had some actually that hired them for 24 hours. Of course, they had the income to do so. Everybody doesn't have it that way, but some do. And if that's you, then of course, like I said, that's something that you can look into. And if, like I said before, if you need, I'm a social worker for 25 years now, certified life coach as well. And if you need some one-on-one assistance, just DM me and we can talk about how we can work together if you need that one-on-one assistance. The second one, the adult day program. Just like the kids have adult daycare services, they have adult daycare services. I'll just put it in simple terms for adults as well, for those who have disabilities or other illnesses and things like that. Like I said, they do have adult day programs, meaning that the same thing like our little kids go when they go to daycare, they're learning how to paint or do some crafts or activities or sing-alongs or those types of things. Those are the similar kind of things that happen in adult day programs too. And like I said, those are services. This is another service that has to be paid for by either you or the state-sponsored Medicaid. And sometimes, like I said, the Area Agency on Aging, sometimes they may have a grant or different funds that they can, of course, send your loved one to an adult day program for once or twice a month or that kind of thing. So like I said, look into it. And if you don't know where your Area Agency on Aging, just put Area Agency on Aging near my town or in Georgia or whatever city, state you live in. That's the easiest way to, of course, like I said, to find one and to find out what kind of services and programs they offer. And then the last thing, of course, nobody wants to think about this at all. I know I've talked to many caregivers and, of course, assisted them in some ways and, of course, in getting their loved ones into a care home. But sometimes you are unable to, of course, continue caring for the person at home, and you have to seek another place for that person to live. They have different, like assisted living, independent living, and then they have memory cares as well. And they have nursing homes as well. But like I said, sometimes, and with different illnesses, it may get to a point where you cannot tolerate, where you cannot take care of the person at home. The person's falling too much. You're doing more harm than good. I guess, am I saying anything about you at all? People have their limits to what they know and how they can care for someone. That's all that I'm saying. And sometimes if we don't have a nursing or medical background, even if you do, some of these cases and some of the clients and some of the people that you're taking care of are not going to be as easy taking care of them at home. And sometimes you cannot continue taking care of them because you're not giving them the best care possible. Someone else can, like I said, the care homes. If you have to call an assisted living or if you have to call a memory care center or that kind of thing, maybe they can provide better services so that it takes the weight off of your shoulders so that person can live somewhere else independent of you, but you can go visit, of course, and kind of return back to whatever kind of role you played in their life before they replaced or before you became the caregiver. So like I said, sometimes we have to look into that. Like I said, I've had several caregivers who have, of course, you always have the best intentions. Your heart is always there, but the person's falling down. You can't, at some ages, and once you get, of course, a certain age and you're a certain weight, that kind of thing as well, you can't lift certain people. That's just dead weight. I don't care if it's 95 pounds. Lifting someone off the ground that cannot help in any kind of way, That is hard on your back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, all those types of things. I don't want you getting hurt either. And like I said, I've had caregivers who just keep calling 911, but after a certain time, 911 is going to stop coming. So that means you're going to have to figure out another plan to get that person off the floor. And if that means finding a care home for this person, then do that. Yes, it's going to be all types of guilt, feelings of guilt and all those types of things. I know that, and it definitely will be. But at some point, you have to realize, like I said before, how much can you handle as a caregiver? And if you can't handle all the things that's going on with this particular person, no matter how much heart, mind, and soul you have into this and how much you love them, sometimes you have to allow somebody else to take care of them while you just go visit and be the daughter again, or be the son again, or be the husband again, or be the wife again. Sometimes it takes that. It's no fault of your own. Everybody has their limitations, different things. You're doing the best that you can do for this person in the situation that you're in, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to feel guilty about that. But like I said, those are other options that you're going to look into. And just know that any kind of care home that you're sending someone to that's usually not paid through it, well, you have to pay for that. I put it that way, out of your own pocket. And there are some care homes who do accept Medicaid, state-sponsored Medicaid insurance. They will accept that. Not all of them, but some will. Just keep that in mind. Like I said, those are the only ways you can pay for a lot of these services, like the in-home caregiver or the adult day program. And then, of course, the care home is usually always out of pocket, or if you have state-sponsored Medicaid to, of course, assist you in paying for that. Otherwise, that's how these services are paid for. Unless, like I said, I always urge to go with your family, friends, neighbors, somebody that can assist, that you want to have to, of course, pay for those. You shouldn't have to, hopefully, pay for family to come in and help you with your loved one. You shouldn't have to. I know some situations you probably do. I'm sure that. I've talked to some. It wasn't many, but like I said, that's the first free thing I always say and tell caregivers to look at, especially if you're at your breaking point, you need help and you don't know where else to turn to. Open up your mouth and tell somebody else that you need help. Like I said, a lot of the caregivers, and even myself in certain situations, don't want to ask for help and too proud and all this kind of stuff. If you need help, ask for help, because caregiving is not anything that you want to go at, like I said before, alone. You have to have help and you have to have support. So with that, like I said, this question I want you to answer. Like I said, definitely if you want to process it with me, that kind of thing, feel free. But otherwise, like I said, this is a question that you have to answer for yourself so that you can know what your options are when it's time for you to pass the baton to someone else to care for your loved one. If you're not in the best health or the mental health to do so. So like I said, again, the question is, how much can you handle as a caregiver? Like I said, you have to answer that question. Honestly, you can put it in your journal. You don't have to share it with nobody else. But I'm telling you now, if you need the help, seek the help. Don't do this alone. It's a lot. So with that, again, I'm Tonetta Clay, your social worker coach. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode. Of course, this is episode of the Social Worker Coach podcast, episode number 130. So definitely, like I said, I'll see you on the next episode. And like I said, if you want to reach out to me to, of course, work with me, or you need some extra assistance or just to process some things, you can always just DM me. It's fine. I'm usually, most times here, I put it that way, unless I'm at work or doing something else. But like I said, I'll definitely get back with you in a reasonable time to, of course, discuss whatever it is that you need to discuss. But just reach out if you need. So with that, y'all, take care. I'll talk to y'all in the next episode, in the next video. Peace out.